It's the worst of the CBC for November 9th, 2020, the show where I watch the CBC so you don't have to. All right, today it's pretty obvious what is the worst story and the biggest omission. It's all rolled into one. I give an excuse for the CBC not covering too many things because, American election results somewhat finalized and COVID nonsense. Okay, you got to do that, plus your fluff story. So we're focusing all our time here on the one story that they didn't cover well enough and should have covered better, which is the Trump claims of voter fraud. Now, no one's going to really like the angle I'm going to take on this, but, okay, the CBC outright said there is zero evidence of voter fraud, zero evidence to any of his claims. This is not true. There is some evidence, okay? Now, it should be pointed out, specifically with the CBC, if you watch all these episodes, you would know that during the SNC-Lavalin scandal, where Justin Trudeau actually was doing stuff illegal that could destroy the country, they were talking about Russia, and I was going ballistic because it'd be 2 seconds on the SNC-Lavalin scandal and then 20 minutes on the Trump-Russia conspiracy, which was a hoax. Now, a lot of people have said, I've said too, on social media and everywhere, you cannot push a baseless Russia collusion theory for 4 years, then say Trump is irregular for calling into question the American electoral system, okay? The Russia collusion hoax was a bunch of Russian Facebook bots, and there were Russian-paid Facebook bots during 2016. I remember them. They would say things about Hillary Clinton. I don't think they affected a single vote because they were clearly Russian Facebook bots. They were poorly worded. Will Hillary Clinton have pedophile in basement? Like, okay, I don't think that... silly. So the Russia collusion hoax, the theory behind that, which dominated the media for 4 years, was that because the Russians paid for Russian Facebook bots to post things that were anti-Hillary, this brainwashed people who otherwise were so morally pure they would have voted for Hillary. This is election fraud, and because of that, Trump's presidency was illegitimate. That is beyond ridiculous, okay? And it was proven to be disinformation, the Steele dossier, all of it was apparently, opposition research funded by Hillary Clinton, cycled in through friendly intelligence services, and then, irregular FISA warrants, all that. Okay, so we still have also the CBC talking about Donald Trump pardoning himself for the crimes he committed, but they can't name the crimes. Oh, the crimes he's committed! What crimes? Where's your evidence? Now, the claim from the Trump campaign and the Trump supporters is this election's illegitimate because votes were fraudulently tabulated. Okay, that's actually a much more legitimate way to steal an election, okay? So you have the system in Michigan, which took 6,000 votes for Trump and made the Biden votes. That's a 12,000 vote swing. You have the claims that the Postal Service was postmarking ballots irregularly. You have, people not letting observers in, people on the ground altering votes. These are ways that would actually change the election, right? So if you had, what Wisconsin was 20,000 votes. Now, if you had a system in Wisconsin, you look at it, and it was each county was misappropriating, thousands of votes cumulatively, well, you might flip Wisconsin. All right. If there was wide-scale voter fraud, you would expect, it would be hard to contain. Now, the evidence of this is you have had whistleblowers coming forward and actually have signed legal affidavits, okay? By signing a legal affidavit, these people citizens are actually putting themselves at risk of perjury charges to come and tell the truth. This is actually some legitimate evidence. Now, is it the total, smoking red gun, this guy signed an affidavit, therefore it must be true? No, that's not how the legal system works, okay? But that is evidence, okay? And you're seeing multiple affidavits in multiple states. You got Nevada, Pennsylvania, people coming forward in Michigan. Okay, so these are swing states where people are coming forward signing affidavits of alleged voter fraud. Okay, this isn't zero evidence. This isn't a mountain of evidence. It is some evidence, and it should have been talked about. Now, I'm going to give you some bad news. All right? In order to win this, it's going to go to the courts. In order to win this, Donald Trump, I'll give you good news after. In order to win this, Donald Trump is going to need to win a lot of cases, multiple cases, in front of Democratic judges, okay? Who have not been the friendliest judges. I mean, I love the Babylon Bee articles of every time they talk about the Ninth Circuit Court, you're right. Every time Trump tried to do something, some activist judge would stand up and completely rewrite the Constitution, make a fool of himself or herself, and try and block it. So, Donald Trump's going to need to win legal challenges in battleground states, in multiple states, probably in front of multiple Democratic judges. Okay, that's an uphill battle. Now, in order to do so, he will need lots and lots and lots of evidence. You have to hope that by these whistleblowers coming forward, there's multiple people. You're going to need a good amount of people signing affidavits. If it's one affidavit in Pennsylvania, one affidavit in Nevada, that's probably not going to reach the threshold. Now, if you can actually prove and retabulate that, hey, this Dominion system was actually mistabulating these votes, and the judge says, okay, we got to look at all those votes in the system. It turns out, well, that's a 12,000 swing, and then all the 47 counties, each 1,000, okay, Michigan actually flipped, right? If you find all these things in Pennsylvania, okay, vote tabulations, okay, illegal signatures, people witnessed, multiple people witnessed, irregular counting, things weren't signed, you still have the ballots. All right, there is a way to win it. You're going to need a lot more evidence to come forward as you put forward these legal challenges, which is very possible. And if there was wide-scale voter fraud, this is why I'm not so big on a lot of conspiracies, because, I'm not saying they're all untrue, but a lot of them sort of require require thousands of people to know about it, and then all of them to sort of keep silent, which is highly irregular. Now, this one requires thousands of people to know about it and everyone to keep silent. So far, not everyone is keeping silent, which means we should push forward with an investigation and send these to the courts and look for evidence and then see, right? So unlike the 2016, Russia collusion theory, which is basically Russian Facebook bots said things that were poorly spelled and crazy, and this caused people to vote in a way for Donald Trump instead of Hillary Clinton. That is beyond absurd, even if it was true. And it was true. Russia put money into the U.S. election to cause disinformation. Russia and China gave millions of dollars to the Trudeaus to help him win in 2015. So, but I don't think that's the reason he won. And there's other things to it. Okay, so the Russia collusion thing, it is the most insane conspiracy of the 20th century so far. Right? At least the Trump claims of voter fraud are actually based on okay, the vote was changed because there was illegal votes cast. They were tabulated by politically motivated operators irregularly, and that caused these states, which should have been red, to be called blue. That makes sense as a means to challenge the election. Vladimir Putin paid some 15-year-old in Moscow to say things about Hillary Clinton, and that changed the election in 2016. That's beyond insane. So, in order to win, Trump's going to have to come up with a lot more evidence. He's going to have to, the evidence going to have to be rock solid, airtight to convince a lot of Democratic judges. And he's going to have to win multiple cases like this. So, is it over? No. If you're taking 50-50 odds to bet who's going to be, sitting in the Oval Office come next March and February, I'd probably bet Biden right now. Okay? So that's where we're at. Is it impossible? No. And the good news is Donald Trump is not a coward, okay? Any other politician, a career politician, all the screws would be put to him. They'd say, hey, you want to stay in office? Hey, you want that lobbyist job after you got? Hey, you want these millions of dollars in illegal slush fund money? Well, you're not going to get it unless you concede and keep business as usual. Donald Trump doesn't care about this, okay? Donald Trump is his own man. Donald Trump has a lot of experience fighting legal battles. He's a developer in New York State. Half of that is litigation. So if anyone has the legal team to sort of fight an uphill battle and has the intestinal fortitude to do it, it's Donald Trump here. So is it over? No. This will be decided in the courts. Is it likely? No, because he's going to have to go against a bunch of Democrat judges. And while he has found some evidence, and there have been some whistleblowers, you're going to need to see a big rush, more affidavits come, combined with some physical evidence. And you're going to have to see one state sort of flip, like they find the evidence, okay, Dominion was flawed, here. Hold up, Michigan actually went, blue. You're going to have to see that and then tabulate. You're going to have to get back in the media. But as long as the media keeps getting to say, oh, you know what, no evidence, even though Project Veritas is just like, here's an affidavit, here's a video, here's an affidavit, they'll continue to say no evidence. So this is where we're at. Clearly there's evidence. What's it on the Rosemary Barton scale? I'll give it a 9 out of 10, the Rosemary Barton scale of bias. Not everything was a 10 out of 10, but it just does frustrate me. And there is even more to talk about, but I think that's sort of where we should be today. So everyone, just cancel your cable. No more CBC. Only me. You can watch other things too, but you should only watch this show. Or else. See you tomorrow.